So, hey guys, welcome to my podcast, Gye Nyame. Today I have a special guest. His name is Samson, the Nigerian Lion. And he just won the Arnold Classic, his first attempt. No, not first attempt, second attempt, right?
An attempt,
Second
yes.
attempt, he won it. So, yeah, introduce yourself, my friend. I know
Uh,
most people already know you, but
Thanks, man. Thanks, man, bro. Thanks for having me on, man. Yeah, Samson. Yeah, man. Turned pro back in 17. Been rocking it with the big boys the last 2 years, and yeah, this year we just managed to win the Arnold Classic. So yeah, it's been
awesome.
amazing.
Awesome. And I couldn't be more happier for you, man. Really. Yes.
Thanks, bro.
Well done. You fought for it. And I even think personally, last year at the Arnold Classic,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, man.
yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
Because we were there. We were there last year, and we saw what you went through last year, man. Damn, it was definitely eye opener because that's my first one.
Yeah.
And man, oh boy, it was definitely that Arnold is definitely special.
It
You
is.
know,
It is. It is.
it's really
Definitely.
special.
And you know what? Before it was even easier, because it was just a 1 day show.
Yeah,
Just a
yeah.
1 day show. You
That's
go there,
yeah. Oh
morning, you
man,
got your pre-judging, evening, you got your finals, and you're done. But now
yeah,
they make it because they need to sell more tickets.
yeah. I
They
know
make it
because
too
it's crazy
crazy.
because this is the first time. Last year was the first time I actually did a 2 day show
So
with
yeah,
Arnold. It's definitely the first one I've ever done. I've never done a 2 day show before,
yeah,
and we
yeah,
kind of like kept with the one. Didn't know how we're gonna take it. How obviously being new,
yeah.
it was definitely an eye opener, man. But I don't know if I prefer it or not. It's good, but
Eh,
it's yeah,
it's tough for us. Like in our position, I think like as an athlete, you would rather have 1 day. You
yeah,
understand? Unless you want the opportunity, like you didn't do that well or you were close and
yeah,
you want that opportunity to come back. You understand?
yeah, yeah,
So it can go two ways. But
yeah. True.
honestly, I'd rather have my 1 day, man.
I know, man,
Yeah,
because at least
but,
because one day you get that pre-judge in the morning, finals in the evening, and you're done.
you
You know.
understand? Yeah. Now you
Yeah,
have to like you have to get back to your hotel. You're
I
sitting there with
know.
some nerves. You understand? You don't know
I
what's
know.
going on, and the way they put you guys,
You
it's,
start overthinking it. You
yeah,
start overthinking it. You spend the next whole day trying to keep your head together and trying to not think too
through,
much about okay, yeah, okay, what's going on? What's going on? What happened? And then the always do it. I always try to turn my phone off, man. Because I'm like, yeah, I don't want
that's
to
that's
know.
that's the
I don't
best
want
thing.
no
Espe-
opinion.
Especially with social media, that's the best thing.
Oh
To
man,
just
yeah,
put it aside and don't let it get
yeah.
into your head. You
Yeah,
understand? Until it
because
shows you over.
yep. Because last year we that was my plan last year after we got off stage. I was like, okay, we turn social media off, everything off. Don't pay any attention, just focus on what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
This year we made a slip up, man. And it wasn't even me. It
Yeah,
was my
yeah.
freaking missus. She made a slip up.
Oh, yeah,
She started looking the following day, the
yeah.
morning. She looked on social media and she
Everybody
told me,
was hyped up. Yeah,
oh man, it was like she looked at because we went to bed hype. We were like, okay,
yeah.
this is good. We good result. We're happy.
Mhm.
Okay, cool. Everything we went to bed like, okay,
Yeah,
relax and okay, this is just working out. And it's this kind of feeling where you're happy but you don't want to be too happy
happy.
because
Yes,
you're
yes.
always
Because
thinking
you don't
like,
want to be
oh,
disappointed at the end.
exactly. So
Yeah,
you try to keep yourself level and just okay, this is good, but let's
yeah,
just see what
yeah,
tomorrow holds.
yeah,
So the next morning we wake up like, okay, yeah, great. She went down to get
yeah.
some coffee and then she came back on her phone and she started looking on her phone and the whole
World
how close it
exploded.
was and everything else got into her head. And she brought it down. I was like, oh, and then it got
Yeah,
into me as well. And I was like, oh man, okay. And then after a while, we had to literally have a discussion. Go, okay, no, we need to stop.
yeah,
Just
yeah.
turn it off. We need to
Oh,
stop. We
yeah,
need to
yeah,
focus.
yeah.
You know. But it's so easy, man. It's so easy to get pulled into that. Like
I know.
it's so destructive as well.
I know. Sometimes, I can take my phone, like mostly after the show or between the
Yeah.
pre-judging and finals, you are trying to search for pictures, you are trying to
Yeah,
check for
and this
some
is the thing.
feedback, and
Yeah.
before you know, it's like 2 hours pass. You understand?
You
And
pass and you see through, and this is the because you kind of because obviously when we're on stage, we don't see
see, no,
what's
no,
happening.
true.
You don't
Yes,
know.
yes,
You
yes,
sort of okay get with an idea with where you're positioned in the call outs and stuff, but you
yes,
don't really
yes.
know what you look like. You don't really
Like
so when you come
exactly.
up, you try to like get pictures and
Yes,
sort of see
pictures. Yeah,
idea,
yeah, yeah.
but you don't want to know the feed. You just want to
No.
see,
Yeah,
But
yeah,
then that comes in with it, and you just kind of like, you know what?
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
even want
yeah,
to know.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
don't want to
yeah,
see
yeah,
that.
yeah. Where
But
you're in a
it's
good position, so it's like it can also like motivate you even more,
yeah, yeah,
to like,
to push out.
yeah, you understand, to give you the
Yeah,
spirit, like, man, I have to go all the way now. So,
yeah, true,
and
true.
it can also mess up your mind, like, you know, that you don't know, oh, what should I eat now? Should I do this? You want to
Yeah.
do things
Uh,
differently. You
yep.
understand? And most
No,
of the
yeah.
time, just do the same thing. That works the
Thing you
best, you
already
know.
done.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it's just easy, like, because when you get back to your room, you obviously think, okay, right, things are going well, but your first thing is, okay, what can we do to be better?
true.
What, how can we, do we need to be
Yeah,
drier? Do we need to be
yeah,
cooler? Do we need to and you always kind of go there and you always don't want to overthink it, but this is a time where you end up having your mind is not in the right place and you end up trying something and then messing it up even worse,
true. Yeah, and
and
that's
it's always that time where you try to keep a clear head,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
and that's a good thing with the coach at that side, you know,
Yeah.
so he can
Oh,
deal
yeah.
with that kind of stress, you know, and you have to deal as less as possible with it, you know. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's where the coach comes good in place. So
Because it was funny. It was a funny thing because after the prejudging, we came. Milos came to my room and we
yeah,
like, okay, yes. He's like
he
excited
was
and everything.
excited, man.
He
I
was
think he
excited,
was
man.
one of
He's
the
oh my god, he was jumping around. He was excited as anything. So
yeah,
what happened? He came back the next morning and he came to my room the next morning and he's like, he was looking a bit down. And he's
yeah,
like, "Yeah, Sam, we just got to bring you dry this evening and everything." I was like,
yeah,
"Hold on." Between the last 12 hours of us going to bed, all excited, like, "Yeah, we
yeah,
good,"
yeah, yeah,
and then
yeah.
you this morning, well, why you?
Probably got some feedback, eh? And he
And
just wanted to
he
go
went.
all
The
the
thing is,
way.
even before the pre-judge, he already got feedback from judges, and judges like to tell him, "Okay, you just need to get him this or get him that way."
Yeah,
So by the next day,
yeah,
we knew what the plan was. We were like,
yeah,
okay, game plan tomorrow. We already planned before we went to bed.
yeah,
So we came back the next day and his attitude was changing a bit.
yeah,
And I was
yeah,
like, look, what's changed? What happened?
yeah.
And he was like, he talked to Dennis James, and Dennis James told him that I was losing.
Dennis, yeah,
And
Dennis
and
was
then
he
and then,
was playing with his
then
mind. Dennis was
he
playing
did
with
that.
his
And
mind.
Dennis,
Yeah,
I was speaking to Dennis on the podcast the other day, and he actually go, yeah, he did that intentionally.
yeah, yeah.
And I was like,
I
and this
saw
guy
it.
came in my room and he was all disappointed and all like down and everything. I was like, what happened? He goes,
Can you,
no, no, nothing. I was like, who did you talk to?
bro? Can you really imagine, like, for a sober
Yeah,
man, you know, like,
yeah,
aside of this, like, we are athletes. You can't
yeah,
blame us, for not thinking
exactly.
right. You understand?
Yeah.
Of the low
For
carbs or
someone that's
whatsoever.
supposed to hold you together, be the one that forethought.
You
If they
understand?
feel like that, man, the way it hits you, you're like, you know what? That shit
Yeah,
but it almost crushes you inside. Like, oh,
yeah,
what
yeah,
did you know? Why would you say that?
yeah.
Because your mind don't think clearly at that point.
True,
You know.
true. But
So it was,
maybe as well, maybe that is also maybe the reason. I don't think the reason because she was, according to the points, you already was walking ahead.
yeah,
Understand? So I
yeah.
don't think that will really made a big difference. But you
No,
never know,
you
because
never
even
know, and
this,
this is the fear. It's always that you
yes,
never know.
true.
You know,
You understand?
and it was, and it was funny because when Dennis James told me, he was like, "Oh, did Milos tell you what I told him after prejudging?" And I was like, "Yeah, he told me." And he
he
was
was,
laughing. He goes, "Yeah, he knows." He wanted to really mess him up
he
because
was,
he saw him on the way to my room, and he
yeah,
told Milos, "Oh yeah, yeah, I spoke to the judges. They say he's fighting for second."
yeah,
And
yeah,
then
yeah,
Milos took that and he brought it to me, and I was
yeah.
like,
He was like,
"That
no,
was
I'm not
okay."
having this. We have to push it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
definitely. Mm.
oh man, it was definitely
Yeah,
a funny time.
that's crazy, man. That a coach can be influenced by other
Oh yeah.
people's opinion. You understand?
Oh yeah.
Because of course Dennis has his connection in
Yeah.
with some people behind it can see the scoreboards, but
Mhm.
yet the coach can still be
So
influenced.
yeah,
Let go
because
us.
because I think because Milos is so passionate. I mean, you've seen him, you speak
Yeah,
to him. He's
I
so
know.
passionate.
Yeah,
He's like he's an athlete himself. He's been
and
there, so that
true.
passion is
Yeah,
beyond just I want to see you do well. He has that
yes,
thing all ingrained in him.
and not
So the same
only
way,
for his athletes,
yeah,
not only
exactly.
for his
For
athletes.
everybody, you see him when
Yes,
he's back. He
true.
comes to everybody.
Yes,
He tries
true,
to make everybody do well.
true.
So
Yeah,
when you have that passion, it's easy to get just like us. It's easy to get sidetracked when someone
yeah,
says something
yeah, yeah,
that
yeah,
doesn't quite
yeah,
agree with
yeah.
you. You're like, oh wait, hold on, and it brings your attitude down
Yeah,
very quickly.
especially from Dennis. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly, exactly. So I think that was what basically got to him, and he brought it. And I had to talk to him. I was like, look, has
Yeah,
anything changed since last night?
yeah,
And he
yeah,
was like, oh no, no. Have you heard anything? I was like, well, have you only heard this from Dennis? He's
yeah,
like, yeah. I was like, then it doesn't matter. Leave it out. Let's just carry on what we're
yeah.
doing.
I saw you from the backstage. When we saw you guys
Mm,
from the backstage, we were like warming up,
yeah,
and I was looking at Andrew, I was looking at you, and I was looking at Nick.
yeah,
Those were the three that I was looking at. And then later on, when Arnold came, he was talking with Andrew,
yeah. I
and
remember
then
that. Yeah.
yeah, I saw you warming up there, and I look at you. I'm like, bro, you got it, man.
Oh, thanks,
I
bro.
was
Thanks,
this one
bro.
when I was looking at the physique, the way you kept improving. You understand the way we
Yeah,
like. you got harder and harder, and people
Oh,
say you were fading. I don't know what they were seeing,
I don't
but
know about that.
yeah,
Yeah.
what I saw is like you was fighting, and I know Steve gave you guys a hard
That
time.
was hard. Yeah, man. I mean,
It's-
it's just for me, like I said, like it's just amazing for me because I remember like when we first met back in Body Power Expo. I think
yeah,
it was
yeah,
2015. The
yeah,
first time we met was then,
yeah,
and my wife was kind of met you and then.
yeah.
And honestly, if you
So,
sort of see the way the time has been to now and how much, like it's amazing, man. I feel blessed because honestly, I really, really looked up
yeah,
to you. I mean, my
yeah.
missus, we
I
saw
thank you,
you
brother.
coming and everything else. We
Yeah,
really looked
yeah,
up to you, and even speaking then and then seeing where the time is now, and
yeah,
it's truly, man, I feel blessed. So I want to say thank you, man, because you gave me
bro.
advice
You did it
back then
yourself,
when I
man.
didn't,
You did
you
it
know.
yourself. You and your wife, you are the team, and of course
Oh,
your
good,
coach
thanks.
helped you a little bit,
Yeah,
guide you, but it's you and your
yeah,
wife. You did it. It was just advice that I gave you. I give advice to a lot of people, but
yeah.
most of them they don't take it, or they will be like, no,
Uh,
this guy's trying to hold me back, or no, I'm not trying
no,
to hold you back. I'm trying to
no.
make you be
Yeah,
careful.
yeah, true.
Yeah,
And we really were because I always feel like you got to listen to those people that have done it, man. Those people that
yeah,
have been through, not just they just appeared, they were already top for a long time. Those people
yeah,
that have gone through the whole hard work and gone through the grind to get
yeah,
there. You've seen it.
yeah,
So, they say success leaves clues.
true.
So honestly, when you get a chance to speak to
Yeah,
someone who's been through it
yeah,
and they
yeah.
say, look, watch out for this, be
And I
careful
know
of that, you
I
have to
know how
listen.
bad you wanted it. I really know how
Yeah.
bad you wanted it. And you was about to make a mistake.
Yeah.
You was about
Yeah.
to make a mistake, and I told you, bro, don't do that.
Yeah.
Just sit your time out, have some patience, your time will come. And I said,
Yeah.
probably if you did what you did,
Oh
you
man.
probably will be
Yeah.
burned out by now. You'll be
Yeah.
definitely
Very
burned
true.
out.
Very
So
true.
I'm
You
happy
know.
that you guys made the decision like, hey, not because that was like an elevator. That was like
Yeah.
taking an
Oh yeah, it
elevator.
was a quick way to
You
get through.
understand?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you took the hard way, you took the stairways. You understand?
Yeah.
And look, yeah,
Yeah.
look what it got you now,
Yeah. That's
So,
true.
and
That is
this is
so true.
just the beginning for you guys,
Oh,
especially for
thanks,
you.
man.
So, just keep your head up, do what you have to do, and
Yeah.
listen to your wife, man, and
Oh
listen
yeah. Oh man.
to your coach as well,
Oh yeah. True.
because a lot
That's
of
so
people
true.
they don't know, they be like
No.
people from outside, they don't know, they be like, oh, we did it ourselves. No, that
No.
often there's a woman, our
There's
lady,
a
our
woman that.
wife
Yeah.
that's behind
Yep.
us, that's supporting us because with this sport, we are so selfish, being busy with
Yeah.
ourselves. And if you don't have the right partner who understands it, who's behind you like 200%, bro,
Yeah.
you're gonna fuck up your marriage, you're gonna fuck up your relationship.
That's so true.
Finally, she will look at you like, hey, he's a different person now, and they will leave
Yeah.
you.
And
But
that's true. That is
yeah,
true.
but if she understands you, she will back you up, support you to the top. And now you're at the top right now. You understand? And she
Yeah.
gave a lot of things up, for you to get there.
To get
Yes,
there. Yeah.
yes.
Of course.
And that's
Definitely.
what we forget. A lot of people of us we forget that, like, hey, so I
Leave
always
it
say we
alone.
need to appreciate, our ladies, because bro, if I think about me taking care of okay, we have kids, taking care for the kids,
Yeah.
bringing them to school and so on, being in prep, have to fix my old meals, brother. That
I
was
know.
terrible life when that was
Yeah.
2016, 17. I was living that life, and then
Wow.
2017 I met my fiance now.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna tell you, man, they are really important in our life, especially as
Oh yeah.
bodybuilders. And if you got the right one, and I told you back in the days, like, hey, you
Yeah.
got the right one, yeah, stick to it. You understand? And look
Yeah.
at you
True.
guys now. See it as a team.
Yeah.
You do good, she do
She
good.
do good.
You do
That's
bad, she do
she
bad.
do
You
bad.
understand?
That's
So
true, man.
really happy
That
for
is
you guys.
definitely true.
I wanted to ask you one more question. Are you
Yeah.
guys now married? Because I
Yes, we
saw
got
some
officially we literally officially got
congratulations.
married like after the literally a week after the Arnold, you know,
Congratulations, brother.
because like because we've been together for so long, for so many
Yeah,
years, and I always say like, look, we were married a long time ago. We just didn't know it yet,
I
So
know.
when we did the Olympia, we wanted to make it official, and we said, okay, you know what? I said, look, let's just book it anytime in March. Let's just get it over and done with. And we
Yeah,
kind of came up with the idea going, look, put it after the Arnold, just in case if the show doesn't go well
well, I
and you're
get you.
feeling disappointed, you have
I
something else to look forward to,
man,
something else to, you know.
I've been promising mine all the times. I think since 2019, I did a
Oh,
proposal to her,
yeah,
and since 2019, then the COVID came. I told her like when I win the Olympia, I'm gonna
yeah.
marry you. So
We're
I
gonna
already did a proposal, but it never came
oh
to it.
man,
Then the COVID came as well,
yeah, I delayed it. Oh man,
delayed,
this how we just did it. We literally just went like, look, okay, go to the registry hall, get a family, have a barbecue, and just
Yes,
chill out and just enjoy it. And
definitely.
it turned out just to be exactly that. It was really a nice family event. It was really
Awesome.
fun, man. I definitely it's one of those times where I can look back at it and go, you know what, that was a
Yeah,
good time. That
yeah,
was
yeah.
definitely a good time. So yeah,
Blessed.
we officially got married.
Awesome, man. I'm
Yeah.
happy for you guys. And also, you also have, I see your kid, or can I say it like that?
No, oh,
Beros, your dog
oh,
is your
the
kid,
dog, the
right?
dog. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
a
the
boy.
kid.
Yeah, that's separate. Yes. Oh man, yes, yes.
Okay.
That's the boy in the family, dude. Oh yeah, him. It's in we because we had him back in 2020 when we were living in a flat,
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
he
yeah, yeah,
started to grow, and he
yeah,
started
yeah.
taking up
Taking
space quick.
spaces. Yes, yes.
Yeah, I was like, okay, you know what,
Yeah,
this we gotta move out of here. We gotta get somewhere better and everything else. And he's
yeah,
just happy that things started looking up right at the right time as well. So we then bought a house and moved out of there. But
yeah,
those times were really kind of like hard, man. And you're just thinking, okay, this situation is looking bleak.
yeah.
You know,
So what is his name? Do I say it
That's-
well? Cerberus?
so yeah, that's the one,
Cerberus,
Cerberus.
Cerberus. I
Yeah,
yes, it's a big dog, brother. I'm gonna be
he's a
honest with you. If I had to visit you, I wouldn't come in, man.
oh,
I'm
oh
scared for
man.
dogs, brother.
But my dad, when he comes around, he's like, yeah, okay. It took him some time to realize, yeah, okay, you can
Yeah,
stay around his dog. Normally,
cause
they look alone is just enough to like
bro,
people just go, oh,
it's especially African. It's like black people in
yeah,
general,
yeah.
but
They don't do
especially African people. Wow,
yes,
we don't play
we
with
don't do
that,
big dogs.
man.
We don't do big dogs. It's
You
just
have
crazy.
them.
People like when, yep,
So we have them, but we only kind of in Africa we use them just more for protection.
for
They
protection.
live in the
Yeah,
yard, so they don't
yep.
even live with us in the house. They live in the
No,
yard.
they live outside in the yard. That's all we do,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah,
And the thing is, like here, I mean, because women here, the way his protection instinct and everything else, he's so keen. Especially like with my lady, when I travel, she's at home alone and everything else. Just
yeah.
knowing that she has him at home,
Also, yeah,
it
true.
gives me a little bit of peace of mind.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's like okay,
true,
I know that he's definitely on guard and everything else. So it just gives you that little bit of peace of mind of knowing, okay, Lord, she's not
true,
here by herself. She's not going on by herself. So you have that.
true. Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Bro, that question is, you originally from Nigeria, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Was you born in Nigeria or were you born
I was
in
born in Nigeria in Edo State, Kaduna.
Tell
We
me something
resided.
more about it, which year you was
Yeah.
born, because a lot
Oh
of
man,
people mistake your age as well,
I
so we
know.
can get
So
it clear.
born, yeah, March 11th, 1986. So I'm
86.
officially 37. Gone just March, just gone.
Yeah, yeah.
You
All
know,
right. Congrats for
born in Nigeria, born in Kaduna in the
Kaduna
north.
in the
You know,
north. Yeah.
and then yeah, we stayed there for a long time, and then I went to boarding school when I was 15. I went boarding school from when I was 12 to when I was 15.
Yeah.
In Benin, right there, right, just
Benin. Oh, yeah.
Benin, yeah. So a Benin boarding house, man, really, that was
Uh,
it was an eye opening period in my life, man. It
a
really showed
boarding
us.
house in Africa,
Oh, in
bro, that's
Nigeria,
terrible. I was in
yeah,
a boarding
yeah,
house too, but that was in Europe, in the
yeah.
Netherlands, not in Africa, brother.
Oh, boarding house in Africa is it either teaches you to freaking sink or swim,
But how
you know.
come? How come?
Because my dad was an engineer and he had loads of kids. There were seven of us. So
7, that's not a lot, man.
seven.
We
I
were
went.
I'm from 24 or something like that.
Oh,
But
okay.
I think now
That sounds more African
the
kid.
living
Yeah.
the living ones are now, we are, I think, 16
Oh
alive.
wow. Oh
Yes,
wow.
16 or 17.
Oh
So yeah,
wow.
yeah,
Gee,
yeah,
damn.
yeah. And
Damn.
that's
See that?
only
I
from
thought
my
seven.
dad. That's only from my
Yeah. Oh,
dad.
that's
And
when
then,
he's dead. Oh, fresh
yeah,
enough.
and then I
Yeah.
have another 3 from my mom. So totally I have 27
So
brothers and sisters.
wow. That is. I mean, that's a family reunion. Like that's a whole party on its own.
That's what I'm telling you. 7 is not much,
It's
but
not much, man.
please go ahead. So he had 7
Yeah.
kids. It's not too much for him.
So
So he had to put
yeah. So
some of
basically,
it
I
away.
mean, my dad, they obviously always wanted to give us the best education. He
Yeah.
was always traveling with work because he was an engineer. My
Yeah.
mom, she was more or less, she was a tailor at the time.
Okay. Yeah.
So where Nigerian, dropping kids off, picking kids off,
Mhm.
having a driver and all that. Eventually, when they give us, so he sent all of us out to different boarding schools,
Oh,
and
yeah, yeah,
I was
yeah,
the one, I sent over to that one in Benin. Me
yeah.
and actually almost three of my older brothers and sisters, we all went to the same boarding school. They
Mhm.
went first, and they'll pass and they'll move on, and
Yeah.
the rest of them kind of went. So I went there very young. Obviously, at this point, the
Mhm.
idea of discipline, you learn that in the most harshest and the most
Definitely.
realistic way you can ever imagine. When they say you're going to an African boarding school, this is the one where
I
it's like,
know.
okay, the teacher will say, "Look, go over there, pluck me a stick that I'm going to beat you with." Like,
That's that's
if it's not good, if it breaks, I'm going to go plug a bigger one. If it
bro.
doesn't, you have to make sure you don't. Oh,
Bro, I remember when I was there back in '94, my mom sent me back for a year, because I was stubborn over here. So
yeah,
she wanted to teach me some discipline as well. So she sent me back with a trick like you're going on a vacation, you will be
yeah.
back by,
Oh,
in
I've heard a lot
six
of
weeks'
friends of my
time.
friends they did that to
Yeah,
them.
in
Yeah,
6 weeks' time, you will be back. She gave me a presser. My stepdad gave
yeah,
me a presser, like a recorder, that I could,
yeah.
listen to back in the time. And I went and I stayed there for 11 months, man. 11 months.
Damn.
And the school there, that was terrible, like you said. The teacher, so like a kid make a mistake, the teacher
Yeah.
will beat
The
everybody in the
whole
class.
class, the whole class. Yeah.
Everybody in the class. And then she stepped on me and I was
Yep.
looking at him. I'm like, man, not me,
But
bro.
this.
So you look at my eyes and I stood up like, bro, I'm
Oh,
not gonna take this from you because I didn't
oh,
make the mistake. And then he passed
that's
me,
what.
hit the other children, and you went on.
Yep. Oh,
So
you see, you get crazy things like that where they will punish. Like one kid makes a mistake, they punish the whole classroom.
everybody, yeah,
So, that-
yeah,
so they, so that way, if you misbehave, your classroom mate will be the one that
true.
tells you
So
off.
next time they will they
They'll be
will
the
like
one to smack you. I don't want to suffer for your crime, you know. And
yeah,
I mean, yeah, I mean, you can imagine how
yeah,
that whole system works,
I
especially when you're
know.
there. They tell you the time you wake up, the time you sleep, the time you
Sleep,
eat,
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah,
time you
yeah.
go, the time you play, the time you. Everything is like this
It's programmed.
coordinate, is
Yes,
programmed
yes.
completely. And when you're there for four years, it
Man,
completely
fuck,
changes your
yeah,
mindset. It
definitely.
teaches you literally from how to take care of your clothes, how to take care of yourself, how to
Yeah,
cook your meals, everything.
yeah.
You become,
Independent.
you become extremely independent in a young
Yeah,
age.
yeah,
You know,
true,
and
true.
at the time you just saw it as the worst place you can possibly ever be.
That's a punishment. Yeah.
Yeah, it just says a punishment. It's a worst place. I mean, I think this is another thing where I think I developed this phobia where I was very bad at talking to adults and people that
Yeah,
old.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
I grew at that one. I can always tell that that's where it came from.
yeah.
Where if I'm in front of an authority figure,
You don't
I
like
can't.
authority.
No,
Yes,
no, and I
same
can
thing
never
here.
talk. I can never talk to them. I
Yeah,
always
same
feel
thing.
hold myself, and I think that's where that developed. Where in Nigeria, you speak to an authority
Yeah,
figure, you don't speak back.
no,
They tell
true.
you, yep,
You
they
you
tell you
get
what they want.
smacked. Yeah, yeah. And
There you go.
I had the European mindset because I was
Yeah,
5 when I went to the Netherlands.
when you went back to.
Yeah, so when I went back to Ghana, I was around 12 years old, 12 to 13 years, 12
Wow.
years old. So it was
So it
totally
was complete
different.
change.
Yes, and I was like, bro, if you do this in my country, they will imprison you. Police will come and
The
get you.
police will
You
get you.
understand?
Yes.
Yeah. So I didn't
Yep.
take no nonsense from them. But later on, when I think about, there was even one guy in my class. Oh, I felt so sorry for him. He was so stupid, so he got beaten like every day.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
teacher was beating this guy.
Oh man.
He came one time. He came with some papers, and he put it like in his pants. We have to wear
So he
uniforms.
doesn't feel the pain.
Yeah, so he put
Yeah.
some books and some
Books and stuff.
newspapers on his butt, in
Yeah.
his
So
pants
he don't feel.
behind. Yeah, and we saw some weird, strange figure. So we were like, "What are you doing?" And he told us, and then the teacher found out.
Beaten.
He got even more beaten, bro.
Yeah. Oh man.
It was
That was
terrible.
that was. I mean, honestly, you think about it. That's the kind of lifestyle we lived for so long that we thought. And the thing is, because you didn't know any better.
That's
You know,
exactly.
this is
Exactly.
time where
Yeah,
the teacher will call you in the classroom, ask you
yeah,
a question to a
yeah,
word on the
yeah,
blackboard, and
yeah.
if you don't know it, you get beaten
Yes,
for it.
yes,
It's not.
true. If you make a
It's
mistake
almost like
as well.
you make a mistake, you get beaten for it.
Yeah,
So the fear. I mean, you're thinking like now you look back and going, how do you plan on teaching somebody if you
true.
beat them because they don't know what you're teaching?
True. But that's
You know?
that's that's African mentality, and that's
Yeah,
and that's that like me and my brother, I was born in Ghana, but I was 5 when I came to Holland. My brother,
yeah,
little brother, he's born here. So we have
yeah. Oh,
totally different
so
mentality, the
different
two of us. Yeah.
mentality. Yeah,
He's more like more on his rights and talking back,
yeah. He has that
when
freedom to speak
yes,
back. Yep.
and we didn't have that. And still until the day, I still like, unless I really need to make a point to my mom, and I would say,
Yep.
Mama,
You
please
still.
listen to me. I'll make my point, but still, when she talks, I'm quiet. I'm
Yeah.
listening to her. You
Yeah.
understand? It's the respect.
Yes.
Even like, for instance, I was with Andrew Jack. We were in
Yeah.
Columbus, Ohio. We went for dinner,
Yeah. Yeah.
we went for
Yeah.
dinner, and then we took a taxi back or the Uber back, and then he refused to sit in the front. I said, bro, what are you doing? Because you are tall, sit in the front. I'm
Say in the
short,
front, get
I
space.
don't need that
Yeah,
leg space. And he
yeah,
was like, no, 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 brother. You are older than me. I can't, do
yeah.
that. I
The
can't
front,
sit
the
there
older ones always sits in the front. This
when the
is
oldest one are here, and
yeah.
he's still walking with
He
that
still has that
African
mentality. You
and
see,
this,
this is you notice that so much from people that have been there.
yeah,
The mentality of your older siblings, your older people,
yeah,
anybody that's more
older,
is
yeah,
considered older than you. That
true,
respect,
yeah,
that understanding of
yeah,
there's a hierarchy structure there
true,
is so
true,
ingrained into you, and it's so
yeah,
respectful. And the thing is, you see it compared to today, and you like honestly, you
yeah,
might think people, oh, why would you
man.
do that? But it installs discipline, so it installs character.
Bro,
You
my
know,
neighbors, like the kids, is like 10 years. Okay, my son is not 13 years old, so he's about 11 years old. I can hear them insulting his mom,
yeah.
like
Oh
cursing
no,
her out.
no,
Like I'm like,
never.
what the fuck? I would have beat the sorry, but I would have beat the shit out of you, man. And then when you come with that, these kids see they'll be like, yeah, but then I will call the police or the child protector.
Oh,
That's what yeah, that's how they
really?
talk.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh
brother.
no.
They're
And
spoiled,
it's
man.
just,
Yeah,
you know, and this is one of these like, how because now you think about like if your child misbehaves in school
yeah,
and the teacher tells him off or beats him for it,
yeah,
if you go home and tell your mom that, oh
yeah.
yeah, my teacher beat me for that, she will beat you on top of that.
Yes,
She's like,
true.
oh, you did what? I'll be she gives you some extra.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
this is time, but now imagine what will happen now.
They will
The
go
parents
to
will run to the school
man.
to go and fight with the teacher.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, really?
Not only that,
Man,
police case, it can be a police case. They can even find the
yeah.
teacher. So,
Wow.
and that's why we got so much rights here, and that makes us kids like more spoiled,
Yeah.
less disciplined, more respectful towards
Mhm.
elders, and
Yeah.
even our age groups. So the
Yeah.
discipline is not there. We are not. They
Yeah.
are not
Yeah.
humbled. And that was
No.
the reason why my mom sent me back. She was like, "Oh,
Yep.
you want to be a
Yep.
gangster? Let me send you back to
Go
God to
go
humble you over
go
there."
go see how it
Yeah.
works. Because that is so true. Because honestly, like, at the time when this is happening, you don't really know that. You don't see the bigger picture like that. You
True.
know, I remember like, they'll teach us how to iron our clothes, how to make
Yeah.
our bed, how
Your
to
shoes, how to shine your
shine your
shoes, brother.
shoes.
It has to be
And
clean
they'll
when you
look at
get
it,
to
they'll come
sleep.
and
It has to
they'll
shine.
inspection. Do we have like where you have your bunk area, bed area, and they'll do an inspection every
Yeah.
Saturday morning. Now, okay, and your bed has to be so smooth that any single dust anywhere is like you can spend all morning shining
Yeah, yeah,
your
yeah,
whole
yeah,
room, and then
yeah,
they'll come in to check it. Any
yeah,
little
yeah.
thing, and it's like, no. And you're thinking that installed at the time, installed that discipline and that idea of how to maintain and keep yourself in that way. Because
True,
you look back at it and go, wow, the things I
true.
learned
Yeah,
from that whole thing. Where at the time I was thinking,
yeah. It
this is
made
the
you
worst
humble. It
life ever.
made you the person that you are right
It,
now.
it really
Responsible,
does. Yep.
disciplined. Yeah, it's important, man.
Mm.
So, but
And
bro, how did you came to the UK then? How?
so basically, when I got about 15 years old, my dad, my stepmom was living here in Europe. She was living in UK, and
Yeah,
she gave birth to my younger brother. So when he was coming of age, where she had to work,
hmm,
and they didn't have daycare. You know how expensive daycare can be for kids.
yeah,
So my dad sort of said to her, "Look, I was finishing primary school at the time, boarding house,
yeah,
and he basically said to her, look, Samson is finished primary school, he's about to go to secondary school.
yeah.
Instead of him doing secondary school in Nigeria, why don't you come here? And then that way, you and my brother can have this bonding, and I can still school here, and whilst she doesn't have to then have daycare because I can look after my brother at the same time." So that
Mm,
was basically kind of like, became the agreement. So I then came here when I was 16. Then we
okay.
were living literally in central London at the time, and
Yeah.
came here to my boarding
Well,
school and look after
actually,
her at the same time.
you were lucky that Nigeria is an English spoken country.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
because it
Otherwise,
could have
if you
been
came
really,
to the Netherlands, it would be like a
oh
tough
man,
thing.
it
16
would have
years
been
old. Hmm.
no,
Yeah,
it
smart
would have
thing.
struggled,
Yeah,
especially coming straight into boarding school as well. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
trying to
yeah.
pick one thing learning, but trying to pick up the language, you got no chance.
I get you. Yeah,
So I think that was where sort of like it did
yeah,
work at a big advantage and everything else, and came here and then I started my schooling,
yeah,
you know, secondary school here while we're kind of
yeah,
having a bunch of my family. So went through sort of against. I mean, obviously coming from the Nigerian schooling system to here,
yeah.
it's a
Different.
big shock to the system.
I know.
It's a massive, people don't understand how much of a shock to the system it is. All of a
Yeah,
sudden, you're seeing and teachers that actually want to teach, teachers that actually do their job. Kids
yeah,
that are shouting and they're able to talk back and all these sort of things. And you're in the classroom and you're just in awe. Like,
yeah.
is this
The
serious? Like,
reality is a paradise
yeah. Oh my
for
God.
rudeness.
You actually
Paradise
truly,
for rudeness.
yeah. Because after you've been through that, there's no way you're gonna look come here and say, this is hard.
I
You
know.
looking going, this is different.
Perfect.
This is honestly, you know. So kind of went through in school. I remember even at the time I couldn't even read when I was in Nigeria. I came here
Yeah,
at
yeah.
16, I couldn't read, you know. I
Yeah.
remember speaking to the teacher and saying, and even then you still had that ingrained fear of I
Uh,
can't tell a teacher
yeah,
that I can't do it
yeah, yeah, yeah,
because the fear of okay, it's your fault, it's
yeah,
you,
yeah,
that
yeah,
is still ingrained in me from Nigeria. So
yeah,
I think one of the teachers was a really good teacher to me at the time. He noticed that sort of struggle,
yeah,
and he sort of brought me to the corner. He spoke to me, and he said, "Look, don't worry, I'm here to teach you and whatever." And
yeah.
he sort of got me into these programs to
Nothing to
bringing
be
going
ashamed
back.
of.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. And sort of going back and sort of teaching me all these things and how to read and how to
yeah.
negotiate what life here because
Because you'll be
that's
stupid if you didn't do it. If you
yeah.
for that, you can't read, but you don't want no help, you keep it
Oh
quiet for
man,
yourself, then you'll be stupid.
you'd be
But once you
stupid. Yeah.
start asking for help and also
Yes.
taking the help, brother,
It
then yeah,
becomes,
yeah,
and so yeah, so it kind of worked away like that, and obviously then finished secondary school, and even when we kind of going to college here, I remember at the time I was so unsure about what I wanted to do growing up. It's like,
yeah,
so they were like, oh, what's we had like the college school there where they teach you, oh, what do you want to be when you grow up?
yeah.
And at the time, I was like, I was so into football and basketball and football,
Soccer, right?
nothing
Soccer for
soccer,
the
yeah.
Americans.
So yeah, soccer,
Yeah.
no, 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 American, So that was my thing. Like, okay, sports, 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 you
Yeah,
know. And he was like,
awesome.
they were asking, oh, what do you want to do when you grow up? And I was like, I didn't have any, I had no ambition. I had nothing
Awes
going there. I didn't know. And
Yeah,
even then, I was kind of like, I didn't. They were asking, "Oh, so what do you want to do when you grow up? What
yeah,
profession do you want to take on?" And I was like, "I don't know."
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I think that time my dad saw noticed at the time that when he gives me a task to do, my dad, Nigerian parents, my dad is like, okay,
Mm,
yeah, take this, go sort it out, fix this,
yeah,
wash
yeah,
my car, do this. He
yeah,
noticed that I was really good with working with my hands. I'm really good
yeah,
at practical
yeah.
tasks. So he said to me then and going, look, why don't you try to go into a job like, a job that helps you do like building work, craft work, any
Mhm,
kind of craft work, either building or mechanical or something like that.
mhm.
So I sort of kind of put in for that sort of thing, and they put me into like they told me the teacher, the college actually took me on for building trade
Yeah,
to do
okay.
all the trades to trade work,
Mhm,
and I was like, so went to college studying that, and I absolutely loved it. I was
mm,
like, ooh, this is simple trade,
yeah,
carpentry, plumbing, all that, and I basically kind of went to college and I studied all that,
awesome. Yeah, yeah,
and I completely that was for me that was the first time where it felt like I found something I enjoyed doing and I was good at doing it, and I felt
good.
comfortable actually doing that at the
Yeah,
time. So kind of finished college learning building trade and got a job after that,
mhm,
like just kind of doing little bits and pieces
yeah,
for quite some time. And then it was literally, I think it was when I got to about 20, I got to 21
mhm,
that I think it was, no, I was 18. Then my mom, she was working as a nurse. My stepmom here she works as a nurse for
yeah,
one of the big hospital, Basel Hospital, really big hospital.
mhm,
And she always told me at the time that look, when you get of age, when you become 18, I can
yeah,
get you a job there as a porter.
okay, yeah,
So
yeah,
I was like, no, you make a good money there. You
yeah,
can sign up. You have a pension. You have all this. So when you get 18, so when I got there, she basically helped me get a job in the hospital
yeah,
to
yeah,
be a porter at
awesome.
the hospital.
Mm.
So I worked there for 10 years.
Wow, yeah,
Yeah, so I was doing that
dedication.
for 10 years. Yeah, I know. I think
Yes,
doing it for almost for 10 years, and towards the last 2 years,
yeah,
I think the position they had this other division apart in the hospital that they do maintenance work on all the air conditioning units and stuff around the hospital. So
mhm,
I basically then took my experience I had in college and said, look, I
yeah,
got this experience. Can I shift over? And
yeah,
from there, I then moved over to that. And
okay,
that
yeah,
was,
yeah,
that was the time when I was working doing those kind of job. That I started going to the gym first. Gym is like
oh, and one thing, because we don't have that much time yet,
yeah,
but I had one thing when you mentioned the gym, because I saw a post of you, you know,
yeah,
from before and after. If I remember 2012 or 2014
yeah,
and
yeah.
now, and I saw this skinny guy. I was like,
That was
I like,
majority of my 20s.
I was like, bro, how did you manage to grow this quick, man?
That
That
was my
time,
20s. I was always like, I was always skinny, man, never eating nothing, just always walking around, just oh yeah, that was
Well
time.
done.
So I
Yeah,
remember, I remember like, you kind of like because people they
yeah,
were laughing at me. They was like,
yeah,
you look like they say, oh, you look like Ethiopian. You like,
Go to the
you know,
east side instead of the
Yes.
west.
And I was like, I wanted, even in sports, when I want to run, it was, you're good for marathon. Don't worry.
Yeah,
You don't need to do speed. You need to do long runs. And,
awesome,
you
awesome.
know, so,
Yeah,
after a while, when people start saying that, they start to get to me,
yeah,
man. This is where you're like
yeah.
in your 20s,
You
you're
go to the
feeling
gym.
more
Yeah,
conscious about,
yeah,
yo,
yeah,
what's going on? What's all this?
yeah,
So started going to the gym. Didn't know what I was doing. Didn't have a clue. Just like, oh, I'll just go to the gym, whatever.
yeah, yeah.
And I remember one of the nurses there, she was married to a bodybuilder at the
Okay.
time.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's how it
So
start.
I was kind of telling her like, look, yeah, I'm going back to the gym. I'm trying to
Yeah,
get some muscles in it.
yeah,
And she was like, oh, her husband. She told me her husband was a bodybuilder.
yeah,
So she's like, look, he owns a gym just down the next town over.
yeah,
I should go speak to him. That she'll introduce me to speak to him. He'll probably give me
yeah,
some tips and help me out. So she basically did that, and I went to his. I remember the first time I showed up at his gym. It
yeah.
was like this really old school gym. It was an underground basement,
Gym. Hmm.
and it was like in this
Like a dungeon.
abandoned warehouse building, you
Yeah,
know. I pulled up outside this building and I opened the door and I'm like, there's this dark staircase that goes
yeah,
up. And
yeah,
I'm walking, I'm like, this young kid walking down this place. And then I got to the reception desk and all I
yeah.
see was all these big guys sitting down in the
Oh
reception
man, I had that
in
too.
this
Yeah,
dark room.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Automatically, when you're thinking,
That's a
man,
motivation. That eventually motivates us, to become
oh
who
yeah,
we are right now.
yeah. you know,
So
but it was crazy because at the time I just looked and I was like, man, I came to
yeah,
the wrong place. Like this,
yeah, 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 yeah.
but they were really, I mean, immediately, I saw my Chris, he
They
called up, he was
embrace
really
it you.
friendly. Oh man, he was like, oh yeah, come in, come in, come in.
Yeah,
What do you want
yeah,
to? And he spoke to me and he sort of gave me advice. Okay, you need to eat more. You need to do this. You need to, train this way and whatnot and that way. And he wrote me out a plan, like quick
yeah.
rough plan on the table right there. Eat this, eat that, eat this, and he gave it to me, just thinking,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
probably the last you're ever gonna see. You're gonna see this guy. He's probably never gonna follow it and everything. So I
yeah.
took it and went away. Then came back to him 6 months later, and he looked at me. He was like, "What?
Wow. Yeah.
What
That's the
happened?"
genetics. Yes, that's the
Yeah, he
genetics.
kicked in. You
Yeah.
know.
Brother, I hate to be having a nice conversation with you,
Yeah,
but we have to round it up. And
yeah,
I want to ask you if you have some special guests, sponsors,
yes.
anybody that you want to
Oh,
give a thanks to. This is your time now.
yeah. So I want to first and foremost, obviously, I want to thank my sponsor, Hostile and Fuad Summer. Man, if it wasn't for them guys, I wouldn't be able to do what I do today. You guys literally gave me an
Awesome.
opportunity when nobody else did. So I'm always gonna stay with you guys. I'm always loyal to you guys. I always love what you guys did because you guys helped me give my family a life that we never dreamed of.
Awesome.
Coach, always Milos Sasha, very passionate man,
Yeah.
very outspoken guy, but honestly, he's heart of gold.
Yeah.
Always looked out for me, always looking after me in every way.
Awesome.
So I got to give him props.
Thank you.
Most importantly, my wife, man.
Yes. Yeah.
The woman, I can't even, you can only imagine, being in this life and going through everything we've gone through,
Yeah.
how what it must be like to be a woman by a man that way and go through all that with you, through the grind, through the gutter, walking,
Awesome.
crafting, pulling up her own sleeve as well and getting in the mud with you the whole time. And then to have this life that we do now
Big
is,
applause.
I
Big
couldn't, you couldn't
applause
have
for
asked
you
for a better
guys.
person. So,
Big
yeah, I
applause
couldn't.
for you. Big applause for your
Thanks.
wife and
Yeah,
your sponsor as well. I'm happy for you. And I hope
thank
you're
you.
going to do better at Olympia. Yes.
Yeah, so yeah, my wife definitely, man. She's definitely been the rock of everything. Her being from Poland herself, she already knows obviously the kind of upbringing and everything else
Yeah.
we do, and she works as a social worker, so she knows the mindsets of our hard and stubborn selves. So she knows how to really bring me down and get me to think logically in
Yeah.
those hard times. So I just gotta say, man, thank you to her. My friends and supporters, my good friend Chris Jones, he owns my gym I go to. He's always been
Yeah.
there for
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
long, long time. I mean, 2009, he's always sort of guided me and sort of
Mm.
gave me good guidance right from that point. So, yes, I just
Awesome.
want to give really, really big thanks to these people and even to yourself, man.
All right.
I
Thank
came up
you.
to you, I came up to you as an amateur, and I sort of asked questions that
Yeah.
a lot of people wouldn't have been straight with me about. But you were straight to me right from the start and say, "Look, bro, this is how
Yeah.
you have to do it. Don't try
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
run too fast. Take your
True.
time." And seeing that bear fruit now, I just want to say thank you, bro. It really means
Yeah.
a lot.
Awesome, right, man. Welcome. And I can give you maybe a
Yeah.
small advice. Save your money.
Yes.
Save
Yes.
your money well. Take some,
Yes.
use some what you need to do. Make a
That's
budget
it.
for your preparation. Don't go
Yeah.
too crazy. You understand?
No.
Do the same thing you did. You know what you did, like your previous shows, and you'll be good, man. You know,
No,
and
thank
just
you.
focus on you. That's the most important thing that I can tell you.
Yeah.
Focus on you. Run your own race. You understand? And
Yeah.
man, I just wish you the best. You know, hopefully the Olympia,
Thank
you
you.
get it, brother. You know, yeah,
Oh, dude, thank you so much, bro. Thank you so
yeah.
much, man. Means so much, man. Thank you.
Thank
Really
you for
appreciate
coming on the show.
it. Always.
And guys, you know he's the Nigerian Lion. I wish him well. If you don't follow him, make sure you follow him. I will put the link down as well. And once again, thank you for coming, Samson.
Thank you,
And I
bro.
hope to see you soon, brother. Thank you
I'll
very
see you
much.
soon. Talk soon, man. Thank you
Talk
for having
soon.
me.
Guys, don't forget to subscribe. Check out.
Peace.